Right now, there are billions of chickens, cows, pigs, and other animals being raised for food. But there's one animal that seems strangely overlooked: the rabbit. It's small. It reproduces quickly. It can eat relatively simple plant foods. And it produces meat. So here's the strange question: why don't humans eat rabbit meat everywhere? If rabbits can reproduce so quickly, why didn't humans turn them into the chicken of the animal kingdom? The answer is more complicated than you might expect. And it begins with something rabbits are incredibly good at: reproducing. A female rabbit can become sexually mature surprisingly early, and rabbits can produce multiple litters in a year. That means rabbit populations can grow extremely quickly when conditions are right. In fact, rabbits became famous for this long before modern farming existed. Their ability to multiply rapidly made them an attractive source of food for humans. People have hunted rabbits for thousands of years. And in some places, rabbits have been domesticated and raised specifically for meat. So it's not true that humans simply refuse to eat rabbits. We absolutely do. Rabbit meat is eaten in parts of Europe, the Mediterranean, China, and other regions. The real mystery is, why didn't rabbit become one of the dominant meats worldwide? Why did chickens become so common, while rabbits remained relatively niche? One reason is hiding in something rabbits do extremely well: they eat plants. A lot of plants. But there's an important problem. Rabbits are small animals, and turning plant material into meat requires energy. A rabbit has to eat. It has to maintain its body. It has to stay warm. It has to move. It has to reproduce. And only part of the energy it consumes eventually becomes edible meat. This is true for every farm animal, but rabbits have another unusual problem. They are extremely lean. Rabbit meat contains relatively little fat compared with many other common meats. That sounds healthy, and nutritionally, lean meat can certainly have advantages. But from a farming perspective, fat can be valuable. Fat provides a lot of energy, and humans have historically valued foods that provide both protein and energy. A rabbit can give you protein, but a very lean rabbit may not provide enough calories to sustain someone on rabbit meat alone. This creates a strange problem. Imagine a person living in a harsh environment. They manage to catch a rabbit. They eat it. They get a good amount of protein. But if rabbit meat makes up almost their entire diet, something dangerous can happen. Their body still needs enough energy. And if they eat huge amounts of extremely lean meat without getting enough fat or carbohydrates, they can become seriously malnourished. This historical problem is sometimes called rabbit starvation. The name sounds strange, but the underlying idea is simple. Protein is essential, but protein alone cannot provide everything your body needs. Humans also need energy from other sources. And this is one reason animals with more fat became extremely valuable as food. Now, consider another problem. Rabbits are small. A cow can produce a huge amount of meat from one animal. A pig can also provide a substantial amount. A chicken is small, but chickens have another advantage. They can produce both meat and eggs. That makes them incredibly useful. A single chicken can provide food repeatedly through eggs, and eventually become meat. Rabbits don't provide that second product. They give you meat. That's it. And although rabbits reproduce quickly, raising large numbers of them creates its own challenges. You need housing, food, clean water, protection from predators, disease control, and enough space to manage the animals. Rabbits can also be vulnerable to certain diseases and environmental conditions, so their famous ability to reproduce doesn't automatically mean they are the perfect farm animal. There's another factor that is even more important: history. Humans don't choose their food based purely on biological efficiency. We choose food based on culture, tradition, geography, religion, availability, taste, and economics. Think about chicken. Chicken became deeply integrated into food systems around the world. People developed recipes. Farms developed breeding systems. Industries developed around producing chickens efficiently. Supermarkets created huge supply chains. Restaurants built menus around them. And consumers became accustomed to eating chicken. Once that system becomes enormous, it becomes difficult for another animal to replace it. This creates something called path dependence. Basically, once society becomes organized around one system, that system becomes easier to continue, even if another option might have advantages. Imagine two farmers. One already has chickens, he has a coop, feed suppliers, equipment, knowledge, customers, and a market ready to buy his chickens. Now someone tells him, try raising rabbits instead. Even if rabbits have some advantages, switching everything over would cost time and money, so the existing system keeps winning. And there's another surprising factor. Rabbits are not always as easy to raise as their reputation suggests. They reproduce quickly, but that can also create management problems. Too many animals can mean more competition for food, more disease risk, and more pressure on housing. Young rabbits can also be sensitive to environmental conditions, so the phrase, rabbits reproduce like crazy,